The Tim Heale Podcasts. Ordinary people's extraordinary stories.
Welcome to the Tim Heale Podcasts. In this episode, I'm going to have a chat with Mira. Mira's going to tell us all about her life. So Mira, if you can tell me where and when you were born, and if you can describe what it was like, where you grew up, the sort of schools you went to, and the education you received. Over to you, Mira.
Okay. I was born in Africa, Zambia, and they had just got independence from the British rule, and we still had that multicultural mix and culture over there. So I went to this school called Prince Charles School, actually, in Zambia. And I studied there till grade 4. I was a very good student and I had very good teachers. I remember my last teacher, her name was Mrs. Henson, and she still is my favorite teacher. I think she loved me a lot or what, but she was such an ideal teacher now that I've finished almost half of my life. So now I look back and I think she was a great teacher. She was always cheerful, enthusiastic, and we learned knowledge by trying things out. After that, my father and my parents both are doctors, so they left Zambia and we went to our hometown, which was home country, which is India. And I remember the education being a little bit of a cultural shock for me because
whereabouts in India?
Far more. Pardon?
Whereabouts in India?
Allahabad. Are you familiar with India?
Well, I've got a rough idea of sort of some of the bigger places like Mumbai and Kerala in the south and a bit further north where Lahore, that sort of places. So
well, it's not too far from the capital, Delhi. So that's I'm more towards the north side of India.
Okay.
So my education in India was very different from what I had received in Zambia. It was more rigid, less open, open format, less curiosity-minded. It was more like, this is the course curriculum, these are the questions, and these are the answers, kind of a thing. And I just became a very different student after I came to India. Instead of being an enthusiastic, top-of-the-class student, I became a hibernating student, you can say.
A bit of a robot? How old were you when you left?
I was in grade 5 when I came to India.
Okay, so that's kind of still in junior school, is it?
Pardon?
That is junior school.
Yeah, that's junior school.
Yeah, so bit of an eye-opener then, coming into a totally different education system.
It was a very big change, very big change. Mentally, it was a big change for me because I just switched off as a child. And I remember being very creative in Zambia, very enthusiastic about all the books and learning, but I just became the opposite after that. And almost right up till my post-graduation, I was that kind of a student. Like, I did it because I had to, and most of the time I would not study and just do the necessary studies for the exams. So I don't know why I had this big switch in my relationship with knowledge. But later I started just researching information that I love, and that happened to be spiritual, holistic, alternative medicine. So I finished my post-graduation in India. So I studied psychology first at the undergraduate level, and then I did a master's in business administration. So I actually went into business marketing kind of a field. And that is the jobs I held for most of my life. And I joined some hobby clubs like writing group, and from there I became a writer for a newspaper. Like a freelance writer.
Let's go back a little bit. So we missed out quite a bit of your schooling. So So we've gone from grade 5 to doing a master's. So,
yes, because it was all one block. As far as I'm concerned, it was like a ice block that I had to get through.
So the school that you went to, so it was quite rigid in grade 5. So when did you go? When did you step up to the sort of what we call secondary school? So from 11 on 12 onwards.
So that was in around 84, 86 when I was in high school, and I was pursuing science subjects because my parents are doctors, so they thought I could become a doctor as well.
So I guess they were kind of sort of steering you down that sort of route of being, you need to be a doctor.
Yes.
And
there were not too many choices at that time. Either you could study science or you could study arts. And science was the most preferred subjects to get a career.
Yeah. So which sciences did you follow? Did you obviously biology, chemistry, physics?
Yeah,
So
the three main sciences.
The three main sciences, as well as keeping up obviously your English and
English, Hindi. I don't remember the other main subjects. These were the three.
So maths.
Main subjects.
Maths will go in there somewhere. Geography, history.
Yeah, that was all done by grade 10. So complete all those subjects, history, geography, civics, maths, science, arts, all of that was completed by grade 10. Then I had to go in the science field, which is pure physics, chemistry, and physics, and with the languages.
Ah. So it's done slightly different to what it is here. In England, that the curriculum, you have a curriculum and it's a broad range of subjects that you follow, and then in sort of the third year in secondary school, which I suppose is the high school, when you're about 13, you get to drop a couple of subjects and choose what subjects you want to stay with, and then do those up until you're sort of 16 when you're taking your first lot of exams. So that I guess you dropped that.
Maybe they changed it now in England, but we inherited the British system. So it was actually O and A levels, which was converted to ICSC and ISC after they left.
Yes.
So it was the British style of curriculum and syllabus.
I guess we still left a large legacy of stuff that happens in India from the British Empire, because I mean you threw us out in 1947, which I thought was a bit sort of antisocial really, because I thought we were doing quite a good job.
You thought there was a good job?
Yeah, I mean we gave you a lot in India. I mean, look at the railways that we left you.
If I think of all the colonial countries, then yes, British gave a lot of systems. But at the end of the day, if a person is not free, that feeling is not good, right?
Welfare one, yeah, I suppose.
But yeah, we're still using them. We're still using the British railways. We're still using the British roads. And our education is still very much
on similar lines.
Yeah.
So we
still
did
speak English.
Yeah. And I guess English is spoken right across the country, is it?
It is. It is the preferred language for career growth, for international business, for prosperity, I would say.
So we left a half-decent legacy then from the British Empire.
Yes, of course. I mean, I think the British has left a huge impact on the world. Nobody can do business around the world without English.
Yes.
So
I think the French have found that out when they tried to change the language in Europe.
I know, nobody can. I mean, they were also ruling countries like
yeah,
French
but they didn't do it half as well as we did.
You're taking it as a badge of honor. I don't think the natives will be that pleased about it.
Well, maybe not. So,
But yeah, I mean, we're still benefiting from the English language. The whole world
yeah,
has to work in that language. It's a common medium of communication. I mean, it's hard to learn each country's language. It's easier to learn English and talk to everyone.
well, it is the international language of the world.
It is. We have to accept that, yes.
Yeah. So, from high school then, so you mainly concentrated on the sciences rather than the arts. And when did you go to university?
So after I finished my high school, my father said, why don't you take an exam in medicine, the entrance exam?
Yeah.
But I was terrified because it's a very hard life being a doctor. And I told my father, what if I pass, you'll make me become a doctor?
You
So
didn't
actually, I
fail
didn't
it
take
on
any
purpose.
Pardon?
You didn't fail it on purpose.
Yes. But I like psychology, and I joined psychology, economics, and English literature at Allahabad University.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time, psychology wasn't a promising field as a career, and my father suggested that I do masters in business administration after I finish my psychology. So that's how I came into this master's. So my interests were this side, but I was always traveling on the wrong road.
You were taking the low road and you wanted to take the high road.
Exactly. So I was trying to take the shortcut, and I ended up taking the long cut.
Taking a long way round. Brilliant.
Because my interests were actually psychology and healing and alternative healing. But even at that time, I was not aware that these are my interests, Like I had a curious and a bent of mind to think about these things. But there was no course, there was no career path, and even I was not clear why I like all these things. However, after I got married and we moved to Dubai, Dubai in the Middle East?
Dubai, yes. I've been through there once or twice.
We were there for 12, 13 years. My kids were born there. And I mostly worked in the marketing or customer service field. So obviously, if I've done MBA, I'm going to get those kind of jobs, right?
Yeah.
But again, you always pay a price for not doing what you love.
Yeah.
So my work was also like my studies, it was just fine, nothing special.
So can I just take
However,
you back one step? So you got married and moved to Dubai. Was that an arranged marriage or
no, it wasn't.
was it a love marriage?
We met at the MBA college, my husband and I.
Aha. And you fell in love and you were allowed to marry.
Yeah. I mean, I think in my grandparents' time, it was more strict where you couldn't marry someone you loved. But from my parents' generation till now, it's half and half. And it's going more towards the love marriage side now, the trend in India. But both are existing.
I guess it's where you grow up and the area that you come from. I guess that has a big influence on whether your upbringing, your parents push the arranged marriages.
India, their parents are always worried, when their kids will get married and when they will settle. But my parents were not so much worried, compared to other parents. They were a bit more laid back and liberal compared to the average Indian parent.
Yeah.
But yes, we do have a culture where if you are not married by, say, at that time 25, 28, and nowadays by 30, it's a big source of anxiety for parents. And they feel that complete settlement happens after you have a career and a marriage and children. This is the correct road for everyone. So if you want to be single or you want an offbeat career, it immediately gets the parents to worry.
Yes.
Like, what's going to happen? If you want to be an artist, how are you going to feed yourself? If you don't marry, how are you going to settle down? Like, these are the questions that any and every, most parents in India
what about my grandchildren?
Exactly. If you're married, when are the children coming?
Yes.
It's like, this is the tried and tested road, so everybody has to go down that road.
Absolutely. So, married, moved off to Dubai, and spent some time in Dubai. Is it Dubai? No. Yes.
Dubai, yes.
Dubai. So, what was you doing in Dubai? So you went into the business administration.
Yeah, so I was having jobs like sales jobs, marketing jobs, mostly these kind of jobs. At one point, I would say change a job or something. At one point, I joined a ladies' writing group. A ladies' writing group where we just get together and do writing, encourage each other. From that, we started doing freelance writing for the local newspaper organization, which actually grew into a six to 7 year writing career for me. So that wasn't planned on the books. It was a hobby which kind of grew.
Well, that's the kind of best sort of thing, isn't it? So what was you writing? Were you writing in Arabic? Were you writing in English?
English. Everybody speaks English nowadays. You forget.
Well, yes, of course. But if you're writing
Nobody speaks English.
So that was for a local newspaper as well?
Yeah, so it's a very well-known newspaper, Gulf News newspapers. Mm-hmm. And they have many sections like the tabloid, the entertainment magazine, the main newspaper, all kinds of sections. But we were supplying in the beginning stories for neighborhood news. Like you write something interesting about what's happening in the neighbor, like art activity or some new project is coming up or anything like that. You know, weekend reading kind of news. Then I got 2 columns of writing. One was on decor. I was having a regular column where I wrote every week about how to do decor, like home decor or interior decoration, how to set up a table, how to make a bedroom more like different styles. So that, and I got another column on entertainment. So I would look at the news and entertainment TV, and I would write a little synopsis, which was more humorous and more cheeky kind of a thing. Yeah. So that was very well taken, and people really enjoyed reading that, because I wouldn't write about what's happening. I would write about all the other stuff, missing parts, gaps, things like that.
All the stuff that's going on around it.
Yes.
Brilliant. So
that was very nice part of my career, you can say. I enjoyed writing. People enjoyed the articles I wrote. And it was a nice surprise part of my career, and I actually felt it was better than my other career, in marketing and sales.
Well, it's always good when you're doing something you enjoy that turns into something that you can do full time.
And during that time, because I was a freelance writer, I had more time. I started experimenting with holistic learning, and I was just curious. I was just learning stuff. Like I would try hypnosis or spiritual groups, go for retreats, things like that. Because I came from a family of doctors, I did not really know what is alternative health or holistic health. So I developed my concepts in Dubai. I did a lot of online research at the middle of the night, when everybody was sleeping, and I would study topics like, I don't know if you've heard of Edgar Cayce. He's a sleeping prophet from America.
All right, no.
And he's written a lot about prayer and Kundalini and how to heal the body and what happens after death, what is past life, things like that. I would really study there's a big collection of his readings that's been stored in their organization in America, which is available online, and I studied that. And these kind of things interested me, like near-death experience. Near death, yes, a lot of people have come back, like they didn't die completely, and they would say what it is like. And that is the part which grabbed me. Like I said, what is this other whole life about that we don't know in our daily life?
Well, I've had a few near-death experiences, but they normally involve combat. A couple of times I nearly didn't come back for an operational tour, I can say. But it's not quite the same thing as you're thinking of, I think.
So the thing is, my mother also is very spiritual. So I started seeing the pattern of spirituality, of healing, of wholeness, of holistic health. They are all go hand in hand. Like Western medicine, you don't have to. True healing, you can be completely divorced from your body. You can live in your own mind, and after Trump won the election, there is this term called alternative reality.
Yes.
You've heard of that term?
Yeah, I followed it quite a bit, actually. I mean, they thought
so I'm
that
trying to tell you,
when Trump came in, they thought the world was going to end, and then it didn't. So they thought they was in this alternative reality where Trump was constantly on Twitter, which I thought was brilliant.
But if you listen to what they talk about, Trump supporters, the media terms it as alternative reality. And I think each one of us has an alternative reality in our mind. Like my alternative reality will not match your alternative reality.
For sure.
So the experience of the alternative reality of a person does not match the reality of his mind and body, the actual reality. So if you're feeling ill, it's because you're not able to tune into the reality of your body. If you could perceive the reality of your body the way you should, each one should, then they would not imbalance it so much by their lifestyle or by their thoughts or by their thinking or by whatever they do or the choices they make. So this is what holistic health means. And spiritual means you're balanced. It means you are not hurt anymore and you're not hurting anyone. This is what true spirituality means. So that's why holistic science is holistic, because if you truly are well, your spirit, your feelings, and your higher self also feels well, which is not possible in Western medicine. You can be treated you can have a heart transplant and be completely cut off from your body's reality. Like some doctor can open your chest and put in a new heart, and you can still continue all the stuff you used to do to continue to aggravate, and eventually, maybe if you get another 30 years of life, you could again aggravate your heart, and again you would need another transplant.
Yeah. Mind you, there's that guy in America that's just had a pig's heart put into him.
Can you repeat that?
There's a guy in America that just had a pig's heart put into him.
Yeah, I read about that, yes.
So he goes around saying oink now. Oink, oink.
Well, let's see how it works compared to your human heart transplant. We'll get to know in 10, 15 years.
Yeah, see how long he lasts. Be interesting, that's for sure.
And what is the effect of a pig's heart in a human body?
Perhaps he goes off bacon
Yes. Because he says, no, I don't want to eat myself.
Yeah. So perhaps he could do with
cannibalism.
Perhaps he could do with some of this holistic stuff to get him on the mend.
Right.
So you're in Dubai. You've become a writer, a freelance writer. You've researched all this new holistic medicine, or for want of another word. Mm-hmm. So take us on from there. Where did that get you?
That got me into all sorts of experiments. First, I was doing all this stuff on myself.
Yeah.
I even joined a spiritual group where you follow a leader and they tell you how you should think. Then I got out of that because I was disappointed. So
I'm not surprised. Trying to tell you how to think. Could think for myself, thanks.
So it was my thoughts were evolving on holistic thinking, on spirituality. So I was in experimental mode. I come from India where I'm a Hindu.
Yeah.
But Hinduism is also very vast. It changes from region to region. You can have it's like it's almost like 100 religions contained within Hinduism, like
yes.
You have so much variety in there. So dealing with all the thoughts in my religion, then other concepts like Christianity, and Edgar Cayce was a Christian, I realized over time, and you read other stuff, I've tried Reiki, I've tried yoga, I've tried lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what the religious or spiritual thinking or terms or concepts are, the underlying theory is the same.
Yeah.
The underlying method of spirituality is same all over the world. More or less, they meet somewhere. And that is what I understood, especially combined with psychology, because I love psychology. And a part of these healing sciences from India, like yoga or Ayurveda, they also are indirectly dealing with human thinking and psychology. So I can see now patterns which are universal, nothing to do with Ayurveda or Hinduism or Christianity or psychology as understood by modern medicine. Psychology of Sigmund Freud or Jung, there is a universal pattern. And you don't have to be even spiritual to access that pattern or even to bring it back into balance, healing, and wholeness. So this is what I was saying, that my curiosity over the 10, 15, 20 years now, it is culminated in me becoming a holistic practitioner now. Okay. I use all of this. So my whole journey for the last 30 years, experimenting with all these therapies, understanding what's behind it, seeing the patterns. So I've tried a lot of stuff. And I have studied a lot of courses like past life regression, Reiki, yoga, Indian stuff, Western stuff. I've rejected some stuff. I've accepted some stuff.
Yeah.
So this is the 30-year journey of my holistic learning, which I have now summarized into a usable form as a holistic healer. So most of the therapies from India are very body-centered. You work with the body, but the effect is on the mind. A big part. You can't heal your body and not heal your mind. It's not possible in holistic sciences. In Western sciences, it is possible to take a pill to reduce your depression and be very sick in the body. And it is also possible to fix a problem in the body and be still sick in the mind. But in these holistic sciences, it's not possible you get well and your mind also doesn't heal, or your body doesn't. They have to heal together. True holistic healing means you're healing, you are bringing the whole force of healing, and something inside you becomes better and better and better.
So this has taken 30 years to get to the stage you are now. So are you doing it as a job? Are you practicing?
Yeah, first I started a blog to talk about my experiences. Then I actually have started the practice more than a year ago. A lot of the people I worked with or friends, they said, you should start. You know everything. You should start. They were more convinced than I was. They literally said, you should start. What are you waiting for? Don't learn anymore, which I cannot stop because I love learning.
Well, I mean, life every day is a school day, whichever way you look at it. There's always something new to learn.
Yes.
So you're in Dubai. So how did you come to get to Canada?
It's very common among immigrants there to either go back to your country if you have finished your working life, or you want to immigrate, like to Canada or Australia or New Zealand or America. So it wasn't like it was a conscious decision. It's just that our peers were doing it, applying, putting in the papers. And I don't think I was really interested in coming to Canada. I never researched it or thought about it or picturized it. It was just that my friends were also applying. So, it was like, okay, I'll also put in my papers. And between the time our first paper was given and by the time we got our applications, at least 5 to 7 years had passed because we were very slow in giving our papers. And when the paper came that we have got the PR, I think we got off a sticker shock because it was just something we were doing. We had not realized what is the ramification of getting this papers approved. And they have this thing where you have this much time to come to Canada, and otherwise, it lapses. And I think my husband was also wanting to do more business in this side of the world. So we came here in 2000. First, we had a visit in 2005, and then we moved in 2007. But when I came here, I was totally unprepared. I had a very different picture in my mind to what the reality is.
I think the weather was the biggest thing, was it?
Pardon?
I think the weather must have been one of the biggest things.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Weather. And also there is no availability of cheap labor like in Dubai and India. So that's another big problem.
Everybody wants to earn a proper wage.
Yeah, so all the things that happened and that I could take for granted, get help in India or Dubai, I cannot get here. And I really thought I had made a mistake. We had made a mistake, and you know what? Maybe we should leave. But it took me 1 or 2 years to understand this. But my kids loved Canada a lot. They loved it from day one.
How old were they when they moved?
They were in grade 6.
So, what's that, 9, 10?
Yeah, probably around that time.
Right. Yeah.
And Canada grows on you. So after 3 years, I realized it's actually a very nice place. It's very balanced. It's hard to settle in, but the family values, the importance to all-round development by everybody, not only the people but the government. There is a lot of, in the terms that the schools are nearby, the children shouldn't be going off too far for schools, the hospitals, there's parks everywhere. This kind of balanced community development is a bit missing in India and Dubai.
I think at the moment you've got your challenges with your Prime Minister.
Well, yeah, I mean, many parts of the world. You could say the same about USA under Trump. Like,
yeah, I think it's even worse under Biden, actually. I think that was something
I
of a big
actually
mistake.
do like Biden.
Sure. He doesn't even know what planet he's on.
I would say that was true for Trump.
Well, I mean, what Biden did to Afghanistan and the way he dragged his troops out of there and the chaos that he left behind, and just yesterday what he was saying about Ukraine, I think you're going to see Putin just wander in and he ain't going to do a thing about it. And the knock-on to that is that China will go and annex Taiwan, and he won't do anything about it. And I think that's probably going to be his legacy.
What do you think he should do?
Well, he should actually put some more troops into Ukraine and tell Putin, don't come here. Because if he does, China is going to go into Taiwan, and he needs to send a clear message to China about not going into Taiwan. But
So,
time will tell on
do you
that.
think he should send troops to Taiwan as well?
Well, I think they've got a bit of a force down there at the moment with a couple of aircraft carriers and stuff like that. I mean, our experience last year was sending HMS Queen Elizabeth down there with and the sort of the ruck that she had around the sort of the South China Sea, sending out a clear message. I don't know.
People have this thinking that either America should police everyone or either America interferes in everybody's lives, countries.
Yeah.
So who do you think is an alternative policeman other than America?
Well, there isn't, is there? Really? You can't rely on us because we haven't got much of an army left at the moment.
That's what people say about Britain as well, that they go here and there, interfere, mess up things, they don't fix things.
I don't know. If we learn from the past, I think the world would have been a slightly better place if we hadn't sort of given up the British Empire, and maybe if we'd have done things slightly different. And I mean, we gave a lot of good to the world.
Yeah.
And at the same time,
I think it was you didn't go with the intention to give good, but the stuff you used was good.
Yeah, the legacy that we've left,
the schooling.
Yeah.
So let's. This is an important topic because everybody thinks about this. So, who do you think is a good leader in the past? Who would you rate as a good leader who's done a good job?
Winston Churchill, for a start. He was a really good leader.
But he was voted out too.
Well, yeah, but that was after the war. But
and I think him winning the war helped him be a good leader.
Yeah, and if you look at his life history, I mean, he started off in India, I think, and the Middle East. So he learned his trade there, and he was a really, really good leader. Margaret Thatcher, she was quite good for the country. Yeah, we haven't had too many other good ones.
Other than England, I'm talking about the whole world.
World leaders, well, I don't know. Looking at world leaders, yeah, I don't suppose any of them have been that good. when you look at it,
it's not easy to be good.
No.
You can do something and the event doesn't turn out the way it's supposed to turn out.
Mm.
But I would judge a person by their character.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I prefer Biden over Trump.
Yeah. I don't know an awful lot about Biden, to be honest, other than the massive mistakes that he's just been making. And every time you see him on the television, he's, he doesn't look all
Well,
there.
you can come to know about the character is the way you treat your family, the way you treat people in your social circle, the way you've behaved in your career. That's how you would check an employee, right? What is your track record,
Yeah.
right? If you go for a background check, have you done anything nasty to people? So why people do that for even a job, a simple job, is that they want to know, is he going to be dangerous in the office? So we should have a background check for even presidents and prime ministers. But
Yeah.
do you think Trump would be able to pass a background check?
Probably not. However, he was good for America. He put America first. He put an awful lot of noses out of joint. He was the only president for the last 50 years that hasn't taken America into any war. And he did open dialogue with North Korea. He did open dialogue with Iran. So, from that point of view, he's been fairly successful.
Putting America first in a slogan and putting America really first, I don't think before Trump came, America was a backward country without any power. It was America that won the World War II. So if you want to put America first, I would say World War II showed the power that America had over the world in winning a war.
Yeah, I mean, they had the resources. I mean,
Exactly.
we held out for 2 years before the Americans came in. And yes, we couldn't have done it without them.
Exactly.
And if you look at what we had to pay, it was I think it was 1994 that we actually finished paying for the war resources that America sold us.
Yeah, but then if you didn't have those resources, you would be under a Russian rule right now, or German rule.
German. We would have been speaking German.
So you would be a communist country with no food. I mean, you'd have you wouldn't have all your brands. You would have those brands that run in Russia.
Yeah.
Or Germany.
And that would have gone across the rest of the world as well. I mean, America was would have been attacked. Perhaps we would have all been speaking German.
Yeah. So Britain had to pay because they didn't have their own resources, because they didn't put Britain first. America had already by that time put America first, so they had the resources and the trained people to send over to help win the war.
Yeah.
So America was always first.
Yeah. And we're doing that again now. We're not putting ourselves first. We've sold most of our resources off to mainly China. France is supplying our electricity. Russia's supplying our gas. and China's running all our utilities. So, I mean, we're in a stuck, really, aren't we?
I guess that's true for everyone. We just need to get things from outside what we don't have.
Yeah. It's called international trade.
To be free and to be able to choose your leader and to have the choice to say no to someone else is a big thing for each country that is free and their citizens.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons we were in Afghanistan. We originally went in there to get rid of bin Laden and the terror organisation. And we were in there for 20 years. And I thought we left it in a slightly better place than it was, certainly for women in Afghanistan. And now it's reverted back to what it was before we went in. So it was 20 years complete and utter waste of billions and trillions of dollars. And I've got friends still stuck in Afghanistan trying to get out that are in fear of their lives on a daily basis.
So I think that's because their culture doesn't honor women and has not for maybe 1,000 years. And that's why you needed America to come and show them the way, which America had to leave. And now they reverted to their culture. And even women wouldn't have studied for 20 years had not America come. They would still be living that way. And they probably will live that way because people of that country accept that culture where women are demeaned. The change has to come from the people.
Yeah, I think the people I really, really feel for is the women, the young women, the under-20s that have seen this freedom for the last 20 years, and now all of those freedoms have been taken away from them, and yeah, it just beggars belief. It's criminal what's happened to the females in Afghanistan that have had this freedom for the last 20 years, and it's just been taken away from them. And I really feel sorry for them.
Well, if British left and we became autocratic, India, then we would have also followed in the same footsteps. But because we continued in the same pathway of democracy and uplifting everyone, we are a viable nation. So I think it falls to each and every person in this world to choose their path and their country's path. If you want to be demeaned and denied and stuck in poverty, you have to make sure your leaders are not those kind of people.
Absolutely.
So we have to force our leaders to be educated, balanced, holistic, humanitarian kind of people. If we are going to consistently choose people who are suppressors of all kinds, you will have a suppressed society in return.
Yeah.
So I don't think Britain and the US can run the whole world. I think people should learn to fix their own thinking so that every leader they choose, whether it's in the community or in the city level or at the state level, they should be a role model of human character.
Yeah.
If you don't choose leaders who are role models, you get what you put your energy and time in. If you have, like they say in the corporate world, if you pay peanuts, you will get monkeys for employees, not real people. I don't think why that shouldn't apply to leaders.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you 100% on that one.
There should be a character test, and there should be a background check, and there should be not one, there should be 10 background checks on a leader at every level.
Yeah.
And that's true even for if I have to volunteer at a school or hospice, I have to go for a background check.
Yeah.
But prime ministers and presidents and dictators, they're all excluded. They can be whoever they want to be. They can be, they can rip a person off in personal life. They can be dangerous to women in private settings. Yet they can become a leader because people think it doesn't matter what you do in private life and you can still be a good leader. I don't think that's true. I think if you are a bad person in personal life and you don't respect other people's boundaries, you are going to do the same thing in public life, given a chance.
And I think that's borne out every single day, that you just look at the news and the leaders that are committing these atrocities across the world. And I mean, we've got a classic at the moment with Boris and the draconian measures that he put on everybody else, and then decides to go and have parties himself. It's Partygate, they call it at the moment, and so yeah, it's one of those things you're running into wherever you live, I think. So Mira, I think we've had a fantastic little chat. That has been really, really enlightening. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim, for having me.
You're welcome.